So basically, it is mobs which are being defended by the BJP. Mobs are being defended, mobs are being granted immunity. The problem is that who knows? And even if it is the Trinamool, does that mean that the police stands as a bystander? Message is very simple. If Mahua Moitra, who is holding a meeting in Nadia district, not in the town but in Kaliganj, if she is holding a meeting, the message is very clear. Such meetings are not to be attended, such meetings are not to be held, because the consequences of it are going to be a form of violence. Now, violence, bloody violence is one form. This is also another form of violence.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. Trinamool Congress MP Mahua Moitra became the target of an aggressive protest Wednesday after a mob allegedly comprising BJP workers bombarded her local transit party office along the national highway in the Nadia district of West Bengal with eggs. Eggs, I mean EGGS. Yes, it was a rain of eggs on Mahua Moitra. Described by eyewitnesses as a rain of eggs, the assault prompted the Lok Sabha MP from Krishnanagar to film the entire ordeal and stream a live broadcast on Facebook from a third floor window to document the events. The footage immediately went viral across the social media platforms, and during her live broadcast, a steady barrage of eggs could be seen smashing against the building's walls and glass windows while protesters chanted slogans outside. Now, what did Moitra say during her live stream? I want to show that video to you just to get an idea of what the situation looked like. Here is it.
Hello, sir, this is a video for Siddhinath Gupta, the DGP West Bengal, who is no longer picking up my phone. Sir, I called you as the minute this happened. I'm doing a meeting in my party office inside private premises in my constituency, and a huge mob of BJP workers gathered outside and started pelting eggs and stones and everything through the windows and eggs. And when I came to the window to see what was happening, it even hit me and hurt me through my clothes, as you can see. And the reason I'm putting this out there is that the police, I never came. I called you, you asked me for the location, which I gave. And after that, the police have come and the police have just stood and they are watching this. They are watching the fun and they have put the BJP workers on the side. They have not dispersed the mob and they are waiting for me to get into the car, after which the BJP will heckle me, throw eggs. Not that I'm not bothered about all that, but I'm not going to run away from here. Your job, sir, Mr. Gupta, is to disperse the mob. The job of the police is to disperse the mob. It is not to make me fight and take you anywhere. It is for me, it is for you to disperse the mob, sir. So I hope you see this video and I hope all of India sees this video. You're an IPS officer, you're DGP of a state. Thank you, sir. I hope in the next 10 minutes you will clear the mob. I hope so. Thank you.
Now, this video went viral across the social media platforms, but the most surprising was the response from the BJP. Now, reacting to this incident on Wednesday, BJP leaders downplayed the severity of the attack, describing the political landscape as an improvement over West Bengal's historically violent past. Now, what did Transport Minister Arjun Singh say? It is horrifying. He says there was a time when Bengal would only hear the sounds of bombs and gunfire. Now that has been replaced by eggs. There is no specific section in the Bharati Nyaya Samhita for throwing eggs, but those who used to hurl stones and bombs are now scared of mere eggs. Anyway, we will put an end to this too. So this was the reaction from the BJP. And I'm sure this incident attracted international attention. I'm sure the international media is going to talk about. But what is the larger message? What is really happening in Bengal? And if it can happen with a lady MP, what about the common citizens in West Bengal? Joining me this evening is Shikha Mukerjee, senior journalist and political commentator, joining us from Kolkata. Thank you so much, Shikha ma'am, for joining. And this horrifying video of Mahua Moitra says a lot. And the very reaction coming in from Arjun Singh saying that there is no section to handle this, the rain attack of eggs. What does it go to show? And they say that the times were worse when TMC was ruling Bengal.
This is, this is a kind of, is this a consolation remark that he is making to Mahua Moitra, that if you just had a few eggs chucked at you, or stones or garbage, then this is better than bombs and bullets. Point is that this is a government, and Arjun Singh is a minister. Therefore, when I say government, I include him. This is a government that in its Sankalpat promised that there would be law and order, the police would not act in a partisan way, and the police would maintain law and order irrespective of everything else. Now, this what happened yesterday with Mahua is happening all across Bengal. There are people who are being paraded on the streets with ropes around their necks. They are being paraded by the police in shorts and walked around their villages on complaints of crimes, of corruption. And basically what is happening is that some people with great impunity, and I mean they have immunity, are taking the law into their own hands, doing kangaroo court justice, putting people, parading people around the streets and imposing fines on them. Mahua got away with just eggs and garbage thrown at her and stones pelted at the building. But the fact is, she could have been lynched because she said in a complaint on social media, which is public, which is globally public for that matter, that she was waiting for the police to send these pelters packing or arrest them. Nothing happened. The police tried to negotiate with her and say that, we will escort you out of the building.
No, but Chika, is it also true that there were some reports, I don't remember where exactly I read, but is it true that it was reported that apparently this mob consisted of TMC, not BJP goons? They were also trying to justify
that is, of course, the million-dollar question. Arjun Singh will always say that. Arjun Singh has been saying that for a long time now, from the time that the election results were declared, that all the violence, all the mobs that you see, all the egg chucking and the garbage throwing and the stone pelting that you see are actually disaffected Trinamool people having it out. It's an inter-party's internal problem. The problem is that who knows? And even if it is the Trinamool, does that mean that the police stands as a bystander? I'm assuming that Arjun Singh is correct or other members of the BJP are correct. But does it mean that the police that takes no action because they know that this is the Trinamool and this is not somebody else? I remember law and order is law and order. That is what you promised in your Sankalp Patra. Now, to get back to a very basic and fundamental issue, Neelu, is the BJP's state Arjun Singh is making a frivolous remark, but then he is also following his own party president in West Bengal, who said that BJP is not to be associated with this, but this is less violence, this is not bloody violence, we're only chucking eggs. But the High Court has also intervened and said that people should not be subjected to this kind of indignity and attacks. So the High Court's stricture be damned. The BJP president has already laid down the line saying that this is better than bloody violence. Therefore, eggs are fine. You can take it up to eggs, but don't go beyond that. So basically, it is mobs which are being defended by the BJP, whether at the level of the party or by a minister, which means at the level of the government. Mobs are being defended, mobs are being granted immunity. And the police is taking a political position, which, as Mahua was being attacked with eggs and garbage, there was Shubhendu Adhikari on the other side saying that the police and the administration must remain apolitical. He was saying this in a public meeting. Now, here are the contradictions that you're living with. Here is the kind of messaging that is going out. And the messaging is very clear. Everything is okay so long as so long as blood does not flow.
But is it also true, Shikha, that now Mahua Moitra has named some 16 people who belong to the BJP? In fact, I think in one of her posts or somewhere she's verified those names: Santosh Ghosh, Hilal Malik, Mampi Mondal, Monideepa Pramanik, Sumi Mishra. All these are people. Do they belong to the BJP ecosystem? That's what she has written. So are these 16 people whom she's identified, they were part of the mob who were attacking?
That is what she's saying, because none of us were there. We did not see the mob. There's no way in which one can actually verify her statement. Or there will be, but that will take a little more time. The fact of the matter remains that if she's naming people, the expectation obviously is that the police will pick them up. But the police has not picked them up. We haven't heard that the police has picked them up. There have been other instances of a mob attacking other Trinamool activists or ministers or councillors or panchayat leaders or whatever, and they are not being picked up. Kunal Ghosh, another ex-MP and now MLA, was pelted with eggs. No one's picking anybody up. So as I said, immunity is already there. The problem here is that Mahua Moitra, as an MP, as leader of a party, is perfectly within her constitutional rights, in fact, guaranteed fundamental rights, to hold such a meeting.
No, but I'm still wondering that, okay, fine, BJP has won with a comfortable majority, in fact, rather with a brute majority in Bengal. But what is the kind of message they are trying to send?
See, the message is very simple.
Yes.
Message is very simple. If Mahua Moitra, who's holding a meeting in Nadia district, not in the town, but in Kaliganj, if she is holding a meeting, the message is very clear. Such meetings are not to be attended, such meetings are not to be held, because the consequences of it are going to be a form of violence. Now, violence, bloody violence is one form. This is also another form of violence.
Also a message that if we can do this to Mahua Moitra, then what about the others? We can do it with anybody.
Absolutely. There is, as I said, a culture of immunity. Neelu, I'm repeating, culture of immunity. That is the message. No one is going to touch you for doing what you do. That is why the police, even when it was there, did nothing. Why does Mahua Moitra have to? I mean, she messaged the SP, she tried to speak to the DM. All of that is true. She also had to message the DGP. In any case, the DGP would have to tell the SP to do something about it. Who else would the DGP go to? So, here is a situation where even the DGP has no control over the police administration. Or he's not exercising the power he has. Or he thinks that there is a different kind of law at work in West Bengal. The law is different from everywhere else in the country, which is that there has to be a rule of law. Irrespective of who is committing the crime, a crime is a crime. But that apparently is not the case. There are some who are violating the law, and there are some who, even if they're violating the law, are not violating the law. That's what Arjun Singh is saying.
But there is an outright brazenness in the pictorial representation, the conduct of the government. That is the least to say. But the frequency and the how it has come along, that how they've picked up eggs for the attack. Here, on one hand, you take out the eggs from the midday meals in Bengal, and then you have eggs available for these kind of rain attacks. What does it go to show? And that is something which is so stark on one's face. And when I read this rain attack, I was feeling sorry for Mahua, but I was feeling more sorry for those kids who will be deprived of the eggs, and all those eggs are being used to lynch and attack the MPs and send out a government's message. I mean, will anyone
Yeah,
speak
well,
on this?
Neelu, if I'm an economist, I would say jolly good. At least the eggs are being sold. Those who are producing the eggs are getting some value for them, for the work that they have invested, for the money that they have invested in producing eggs, because the eggs are being sold. If it's not going to a child's stomach, at least it's hitting up an MP. But that is a kind of very hard economic logic, which I don't think is the point. The point really is that this is a government that went out of its way. Let's not pull any punches on this. Huh? I laughed about it, I joked about it, but I was also very apprehensive about it when I saw that candidates were campaigning with fish, saying that we are not going to go on the vegetarian route. We are not going to go on this vegetarianizing West Bengal's food culture. So you had candidates who campaigned with fish. You actually had Anurag Thakur come down to Calcutta and do a photo op on fish eating. So basically, this is a government, this is a party which campaigned on how it was very, very, and Mr. Amit Shah's famous statement in a press conference. The chief minister is going to be someone who eats fish. And then what do? You take the kids, you appoint ISKCON, who in any case has been under investigation for a lot of problems with other midday meals and other meals. So you appoint ISKCON, they come in with their idea of whatever is a Sattvic Bhojan. Why the Sattvic is Sattvic, I don't know, but anyway, it is Sattvic. And then it says no eggs for kids. But that is nutrition. The purpose of a midday meal is not Sattvic Bhojan. It is to give nutrition to these kids who may be nutrition deprived. And I really wish that somebody, I know that Shapam Das Gupta is educated enough, but I wish there would be other people who would read what the National Family Health Survey has to say, the newest one that has just come out,
No, in
about
fact, there
malnutrition
so
and
many
kids.
nutritionists. But since the story broke out, I have seen it with my own eyes. So many nutritionists coming out and saying that your
Yeah.
nutrition cannot be governed by your ideology and religion. It has to go by the scientific temperament. But the point is, do you think that there are two issues in the story we are discussing? One is this egg attack on Mahua Moitra, which involves the safety and the integrity of a woman embryo. That is one issue. The other issue, of course, is of the eggs, the nutrition which you are giving to your own kids. Now, these are two very, very stark issues. Do you think that this will attract a lot of international condemnation, which I'm sure the Modi government isn't bothered to? They will, of course, dismiss. But what can really happen in the ideal case? What kind of a condemnation, international condemnation, can it really attract?
Well, first and foremost, what is the neighborhood condemnation that it is going to attract? Please let us not forget that all this, the food politics is not a very comfortable issue for the rest of South Asia. So there is one problem there. There are other people who, of course, are going to say that kids should cannot be deprived of nutrition on the basis of some sattvic bhojan, whatever that sattvic is. Who defined that sattvic bhojan, I don't know, but whoever has defined it has defined it. And frankly, I think that India is going to be is there are loads of agencies. Don't forget also that there are a lot of NGOs which are monitoring children's health, which are monitoring what children eat, which have for some time been providing supplemental food and supplemental support to kids. So if and the ultimate thing is that why would you deprive a child of nutrition, which is animal based nutrition, when you have a safe animal based nutrition available, cheap safe animal based nutrition available? What it is doing is you are attacking what this recent report on genocide in Gaza said, that you're attacking the next generation. You are attacking the next generation. That is what it means. You are withdrawing a kind of investment in the building of human health and capital, which is going to pay dividends for you in the long run as a country. But by depriving them of nutrition or by imposing a different kind of nutrition, this is a setback. Why the government is not thinking about the larger picture is something that surprises me. They said they have a few educated people in the government. They know what it is. But obviously that doesn't matter.
I was also looking at Akhilesh Yadav's post. He has basically he has condemned this rain attack of eggs on Mahua Moitra, and he's urged Lok Sabha Speaker and the judiciary to take immediate cognizance of the incident. And do you think that the Lok Sabha Speaker, or if any complaint goes, he's also watching? The judiciary can see this. In ideal situation, what could have happened really?
See, the judiciary has already has passed strictures on this. So, if it's continuing after the judiciary has passed a stricture, then it means that the BJP or whoever were these people or the state administration, whoever is supposed to be in charge of law and order, I don't know who's supposed to be in charge of law and order, but if if there is anybody in charge of law and order, then they have decided that the stricture does not matter, that the High Court stricture is of no consequence. The mobs can continue to pursue what they have done with immunity. Basically, there is one law for the mob and one law for the rest. If the mob is if the Trinamool or the Congress or the CPM were to start chucking eggs or even rotten garbage at somebody from the BJP, the reaction would be one kind and this is a different kind. Because, and I'm not saying this is a frivolous statement, if you look at how the High Court has kept passing orders on evictions of people who are living on government land, railway land, and on stalls in the railway stations, the High Court has passed orders. And yet the bulldozers turn up at night and start evicting people. And children are out of homes that have been demolished in the middle of the night. What do they care about these kids? So, as I'm saying, there is one law for people who are to be evicted, one law for people who are to be paraded around the streets by kangaroo courts, and one law for people who are chucking stones and garbage and eggs at MPs and MLAs and councillors and political leaders. But there is a different law somewhere else.
But it's not that mob lynching or this kind of an incident we are seeing in Bengal. There have been various incidents across the country on mob lynching. But do you think that this Bengal story of Mahua Moitra and also the other incidents which we have seen, they are depicting a totally different script altogether. It seems that West Bengal is, it's just not part of India. It almost seems like socially and
No, West
politically.
Bengal is a lab.
Pardon?
West Bengal, West Bengal seems to be a laboratory for experiments, new experiments in how to. But eggs have been chucked. It's not new, and this must be some genius who went to. Who read a lot of history, especially history in the UK and in Europe, where eggs and garbage was a very favored form of attack on political opponents and political candidates. So it's the modus of the missiles that are being used are very, very 20th century, if not 19th century.
The egg missiles. You're talking about the egg missiles, that they are very old.
Just that, the garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage used to be chucked. So this is very old missile. Somebody has been reading history. So having read the history, this is what they have produced in Bengal. I mean, come on, it's so stale.
But Shikha, what do you think is going to be the next action for Mahua Moitra, and also what happens to Mamata Banerjee? Is she freely moving around in Bengal? How do you see, or she hold up because of seeing all this? Is she really scared to move out?
That's a good question, Neelu, because 21st July is when the showdown begins.
The Martyrs' Day.
The Martyrs' Day. She has already been denied permission to hold the Martyrs' rally in the location where she wanted to hold it.
And I think she also said that even if it is 4 or 5 people, I will continue.
That Mahua also said, she also said, but that's not the point. The point is she has been denied permission to hold it where she wanted to hold it. And the chief minister has said very clearly, I will decide where this meeting is to be held. I mean, he's not the person who makes a decision on behalf of somebody else. He can withhold permission or he can give permission, but he can't decide where a meeting is going to be held. Again, this is in direct violation of the fundamental right to associate, to hold rallies, to hold meetings. I mean, this conducting politics in public places is an intrinsic part of democracy, especially if it is organized by the opposition. And the chief minister is very clearly saying, not where you will hold a rally where I tell you to. Now, this is the kind of politics that has been waged in India for a long, long time. It's not that it's a new experiment in the West Bengal laboratory of the BJP. Not at all. If I remember rightly, way back after 1993, when these martyrs happened as a result of police firing, Mamata Banerjee was refused permission on her chosen site, and that is why she went on the back of a truck and was holding a meeting in the middle of the road, which is a major crossing. But okay, but those were bad times. The BJP has promised good times. The BJP has promised law and order. The BJP has promised
What
peace.
Mamata Banerjee, Shikha, and this is my last question to you, that will we see Mamata Banerjee in that old, form, the straight fighter?
See, if she's going to, how she handles it is tricky. It's very tricky for her. Politically, it's tricky. Why? Because she needs to sell two messages at the same time. One, to the public at large, and basically her constituents and her party workers, and she has to also communicate a message to the rest of the country.
Right.
So it's a tricky question, because in West Bengal, it has been my experience looking at things for almost 50 years, is that, at the grassroots, people tend to avoid risk very much so. They become very timid, in their actions. They don't want to take on power in a head-on fight. They take on power in a head-on fight when they think that the power that the party that they're associated with has a chance of becoming the dominant political force. We saw it at the time when the transition that happened from the Congress to the left. We are seeing it now when the transition is happening from the Mamata to the BJP. People tend to be very, very cautious and risk averse, but that is, therefore, it's going to be a very tough challenge for her on the 21st. How does she communicate this message? How does she organize something which when it is shared on social media gets the message across to every party worker she has that don't worry, I'm there, you will stand strong, and I'm strong enough to resist of the raining missiles of eggs and garbage, the historical sort of antique form of uh,
Absolutely.
intimidation. She has to communicate all these messages. Complicated, very complicated.
Well, we'll see how Mamata Banerjee handles this, but I'm sure this episode will not be taken very lightly, and also by Mahua Moitra as well. Thank you so much, Shikha Mukerjee, for joining on HW.
Thank you.